Hey everyone, if you consider yourself a highly skilled Fortnite player, or maybe even an average Fortnite player but still seem to die a lot or have a hard time getting wins, this video will help you out. Sometimes the reason you're dying a lot is not because you're a bad player, but rather you need to play a little smarter. We'll be discussing having better vision of the battlefield, 3 common mistakes players make and how to avoid these, and how to rotate better for the advantage over your enemies. With these 3 tips, if you take your skill and implement them into your gameplay, you'll start thinking better and overall become a smart Fortnite player. The gameplay in the background is a 20 kill solo win. Comment down below and tell me what weapon you hate using the most in Fortnite, and let's jump right into it. The biggest mistake every Fortnite player makes is having something called tunnel vision. I was watching a YouTube video the other day that talked about this, and while I already knew what tunnel vision was before I watched the video, I thought it would be great to introduce to you guys in this video. Essentially what tunnel vision is only seeing what's in front of you and not what's surrounding you. How tunnel vision happens is it starts with seeing one target and nothing else. Literally nothing else. You don't see where high ground might be, you don't see any other players that might try to third party, or if you're in squads or duos, you lose track of the other players. How to avoid tunnel vision is simple. Start looking for various things in the game rather than just your opponent. You always want to take note of where other enemies are, where natural high ground is for the best position against your enemy, escape routes for them, and most importantly, what's the best way that you can approach the fight that will give you an opportunity to get shots off on your opponent without taking damage back. Too many players have tunnel vision because they have one goal in mind: get the kills. Now, I'm obviously all for getting kills. The majority of the gameplay I post on my channel is usually 16 kills or higher, and the gameplay you guys are seeing right now is a 20 kill solo game, but I don't get all of these kills having tunnel vision. I always keep track of my enemies and where they are, where the next zone is, how weak my opponents are, and how weak I am. I keep mental note of the weapons my enemies have to make sure that I don't make the wrong choice to approach the fight. And for example, if another player and I have already taken shots at each other and he has a purple or a gold pump and I only have a green pump, the last thing I want to do is get right in his chest and try to get a pump shot off on him. This is a huge factor in tunnel vision because, again, you don't actually think of these things, you just see one thing and one objective, which is get the kill. Before we get into some common mistakes that the more unintelligent players make, I just want to say one thing. You guys need to get out of the mentality of I see player, I kill player, and start taking your time and being more patient in every fight. Now that we've talked about tunnel vision, let's move into some common mistakes your average player and even your pro player makes from time to time. The first thing I want to talk about is giving up good positioning for a kill. It's a mistake that even my friends make a good majority of the time we play together. They'll down someone from 100 meters away and instantly want to push a team of 3 to 4 players over one guy being down. If you guys have natural high ground, the last thing you'll ever want to do is give that up. Even if you have a player weak, or if you're in duos or squads you have them knocked, always maintain the natural high ground. Chances are that team is most likely going to push you, or even another team heard the shots and is moving into third party you. This is a smart decision because you'll be able to counter that third party or that other team that you just engaged with when they try to push you, or even worse, both at the same time. The second common mistake that players make is giving up way too early in fights. Chances are a good majority of you guys give up in fights the second you get shot for both minimal amounts of damage and massive amounts of damage. Just because you're low health or don't have shields instantly means you're done for and you should just leave the game. This is a common mistake by a lot of players. Just keep in mind though, even if you're weak, you have an opportunity to deal damage to your opponents and clutch the fight out and kill your enemy. The third and final common mistake players make that hold them back from being a smarter player is not being patient. Patience will lead to more kills and less deaths. If you're patient enough to wait for your opponent to get a shot off on them or to wait for them to make a mistake, you'll be able to make better plays, and this is one of the best ways to become a smarter Fortnite player. If you're patient and you wait, you'll be able to think more clearly, and because of this, you'll make better plays. Too many players are really excited and want to go and get the kill, and this leads to their enemy dictating the fight because the other player is too excited. Be patient, see what your opponent throws at you, and make plays based off of that. Alright everyone, now that we've gone over tunnel vision and the 3 common mistakes players make, we're going to be talking about how to rotate for the advantage over your enemies. I do want everyone to keep in mind that rotating doesn't only mean going from zone to zone. Rotating also means getting the best possible position against your enemies. For example, if you're in Salty Springs and your opponent is sitting on top of Treehouse, shooting at someone near your gas station, and you're positioned at Blue House, the first thing you could do is either take shots on your opponent, which would give him time to recover, or you could go around the back side of him and take shots at him and deal damage and then push him. Good rotation and positioning skills are traits of really smart players. You should always be looking to create an opportunity for yourself and a disadvantage for your opponents. When you rotate from zone to zone, you want to always keep in mind where players will most likely be as you rotate. The reason you want to do this is because if you're going for high elimination games, being strategic about where you rotate will help you out in finding more players. If you're weak with low materials and a very poor loadout, choosing the best spot to go to for loot and heals as well as materials could be the deciding factor in the match. Like I said in previous videos, your decisions should ultimately always move the game forward. For 20 minutes each time, you need to stay alive in order to come in first place. That's the goal of a Battle Royale. It doesn't really matter how many kills you get at the end of the day. If you get the win, you're a good player. So, to recap everything we said in this video, avoid having tunnel vision, take notes of your current situation, be patient, don't give up early in fights, rotate and position correctly to create opportunities for yourself and the disadvantage for your opponents, and if you add all of these together, you will ultimately become a very smart Fortnite player. Experience is key, don't forget to keep practicing. And if you did make it this far in the video, comment the word hunting rifle for a chance at a shout out in my next video. Subscribe if you guys are new, use my code YTVRebus in the item shop, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace out.